Hey everyone, Eddie Wilson here with the Think Realty Video Podcast. So excited to be with you again today. And we've got a great guest for you today. It's always an amazing opportunity for myself as the founder and owner of Think Realty to be able to do these podcasts, standing in for Abhi Golhar, so that I can bring to you some great relationships that we have and some great interviews. But quickly, I want to say a very big thank you to our podcast sponsor, which is Norada Real Estate Investments, your premier source for cash flow investment property. Visit Turnkey Real Estate Investments, plural, turnkeyrealestateinvestments.com, and visit our good friend Marco Santarelli there for all of your turnkey needs. Our guest today is Michael Bull of BullRealty. Michael, are you with us?
I'm here, Eddie. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's our privilege to have you on the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. So, Michael, are you located here in Atlanta?
Yeah, I am. I'm a licensed broker in 9 Southeast states, but we're headquartered right here in Atlanta where I grew up.
Very good. I knew that you were in multiple states, but I wasn't sure where headquarters or where you resided. So we're local Atlantans together, huh?
That's right. It's a great place to leave and never leave. You know, it's just a great market.
That's awesome. Well, obviously, we're in kind of a crazy situation right now in the United States. Everything has changed, and it seems like the world's gone crazy. I know that you have serviced a lot of real estate investors as well as you have a retail brokerage. And I just want to get your sense of, what's a realtor going through today? I mean, what's the market look like? I mean, it must be one of the craziest times you've ever seen for realtors. What's your take on that?
Yeah, it is, Eddie. It's a strange time. Never seen anything quite like this, being so health scare oriented. I think every realtor, whether they're commercial or residential, they're a little freaked out. Hey, what's going on? When's this going to end? What's it going to look like afterward? And I think that the best practices for all realtors right now is to stay busy. Do those missions that you weren't able to get to, you didn't have time for before. Whether it's your database, your marketing, your presentations, and then also just a lot of touch-ins with clients and customers, and making sure that they know you're there, and that if you can do anything to help them. We're putting out a lot of information to help commercial property owners deal with mortgage issues, financing debt, helping them deal with tenant non-payment issues and ways to work through those things. So just trying to provide a lot of great information for clients to kind of help them through this. I think it's going to be pretty busy afterwards. My expectation is with the low interest rates, that with sellers being a little more agreeable on pricing, and buyers wanting to come in after a downturn or during a downturn to acquire properties, I think it's going to get quite busy.
As a commercial realtor, commercial brokerage, there's a lot of pundits out there that are talking about how the commercial space is going to change, office space and, various other places. I drove by WeWork in Atlanta the other day, and you just, your heart goes out to those business models because they're suffering right now. What are some of the biggest changes that you see maybe potentially coming on the horizon? I mean, you've got great, it's interesting. I've got friends that are in the storage space. They have big multi-storage facilities, and those are doing really well right now. People can't even get out to take their stuff out of the storage units. But big office complexes and, co-working spaces and all, restaurants and, all the other commercial. What are your thoughts there?
Well, I think it's going to be different for different sectors. Obviously the hotel sector's hit really hard. We have a hospitality division, and that sector's really hit hard. And it's going to be a slow growth back for them. I think people will be a little bit more hesitant to travel and to mingle and have conventions and have events. It'll come back, but I think there's going to be a slow recovery there for hotels. I think there's going to be quite a bit of issues there. I think that the next hardest hit is retail, obviously, with a lot of businesses being shut down. I think you're going to see a lot of restaurants that just close and they do not open back up. So that's going to hurt a lot of these retail properties that, we're already going through a tough time. But there are a lot of retail properties that are still doing well. We're seeing some properties that weren't doing well getting converted to different uses, obviously, for the land. One thing about retail real estate is typically good real estate, right? It's got good frontage, it's flat, it's got utilities, it's cleared. It's at Main and Main potentially. So, a lot of these properties are getting reused for other uses. There was this one in Macon, read about this morning, that's being converted to industrial use. So some of the municipalities are understanding that, hey, some of these big malls and things just aren't going to come back as retail. Let's get them viable in other ways and allow zoning to do that, whether it's building apartments, building and converting to industrial and things like that. I think another sector is going to be interesting to see what happens. You mentioned rework is office. I think this, challenge and opportunity for people to work at home is going to bring about the good things about it and the bad things about it, right? So I think as people get back to work, might they want to have more distance between them and their coworkers? May they say, hey, look, I'm still scared. I still want to work at home. Might there be a little less use, a little less demand? But then some folks are going to see that there might be increased demand. We've gotten to really tight square footage per employee on office space. It kind of had become the norm. You imagine the people with headsets on and iPods in their ears and just all close together. Well, people aren't going to like that anymore. And I think we'll see more of private offices again, more sparse use. So I think some people are thinking that maybe general office might have a little less use, but some, on the other hand, think that tenants want to want more space to spread out their employees, and they want the productivity. Obviously, I've got my entire company working at home, but I suspect there's not as much getting done. And I think a lot of CEOs would think that way.
Yeah, that's very good advice, and it's an interesting take on the market, and it sure is a changing, shifting time. There are a lot of people that believe that there's a boom coming, that that it will be an exciting time for real estate investors, both in the retail sector as well as the single family sector. There are those. I'm very diversified. I'm in many multifamily syndications. I'm in a hospitality syndication where we're at about 10% occupancy right now. I got a lot of rental properties, single family rental properties, and I'm in student housing. So it's interesting to me. I'm invested in all of those and watching how all of those play out. And it's kind of fascinating. If you've been expecting a potential downturn and you're, have some powder dry ready for opportunities, it seems like there's going to be opportunity. Do you believe that? Do you believe that we're in this for the long haul? Do you think it's going to be a quick rebound? I mean, obviously no one knows, and a prediction is nothing more than a prediction, but what's your general sentiment? What are the agents that work for you? What are their thoughts? I mean, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, as you said, I think it depends on how long this working at home and isolation goes on. Obviously we're going to be in a recession. It's going to be some tough times for a lot of people out of work. It's going to hurt the overall economy. Industries just shut down. The amount of financial pain is going to be heavy, and it's going to impact the market. I think there will be opportunities for buyers. We're already seeing some of our sellers that just said, hey, not 10% off the list price now, not 20% off the list price now. We had a hotel client that said to sell two of my hotels. We said, well, look, it's obviously a poor time to do that. He says, hey, I want to sell them. They bring what they bring. So, I think there are going to be buyers who get better deals. And you think about, the interest rates. Wow. I mean, what a great time. And then a lot of buyers have seen themselves or other investors do really well from buying after the last downturn. Well, in the last downturn, it was hard to get financing. The banks and lenders were in terrible shape. I don't think we're going to see that this time. I think the banks are stronger. Lenders are stronger. The regulators are giving them some flexibility in the current situation. So yeah, I think there'll be. I don't know if it's going to be the blood in the street that some buyers are really looking for, but I think it will be a good time. But time in the cycles is always key. We're going to be in a down cycle, so it'll be a good time to buy, and I think it will get very active, and we're getting ready for it at our office. I mean, we have 35 brokers. We do all, and every broker has a different specialty they're in. And in every specialty, we're really gearing up to be prepared and help people that want to buy and sell. We think it will get busy.
Yeah, that's good. You obviously have a big understanding and a kind of a high vantage point for commercial landlords and tenants. Any suggestions for landlords right now as they're kind of going through this and fighting their way through the mud, looking at the issues that face them? Would you give any advice on that? I know a lot of our viewers do own commercial properties and are commercial landlords. Maybe you could help them out from some of the things that you're seeing?
Yeah, to touch on a few things, I think you want to make sure that your eyes are open and that you are facing what you're dealing with. And if tenants are reaching out to you, having trouble pay, that you look at each situation as much as you can individually and see, is this a tenant that's really just trying to take advantage of the market? Are they trying to kind of get out of leases maybe they shouldn't have done, but that they have the financial wherewithal? Or is this a tenant that is not going to make it if you don't give them a break? And do you really want that vacancy in your property, which could be vacant for a while if you don't do something to help them survive? So I think you want to look at into each individual situation. It's funny when working at home here, and my cat's behind me doing something crazy. And I think if you've got lease terms that are coming up in the next 3 years on a term, a lease ending, and it's an office retail property that a tenant needs a break, then that might be an opportunity for a landlord to get some existing term on their leases to add value to their properties, but give a tenant a break right now. Maybe you give your tenant 3 months free rent, add 3 years lease to their term. And I think every situation is different, but I would go in and look at this as, hey, this is going to be a short-term time frame that the tenant's going to have difficulty. And I think you want to look at what they're doing and help out the ones that you can. In the cases where you're a landlord and you're going to have trouble paying your payments, you're going to have to deal with both sides of it. Then you're going to have to try to see what tenants you really need to help that make sense long term for the property and the lender to keep those tenants, and then work with your lender and reach out to them and see if they can help you out with some type of forbearance. Like I said earlier, a lot of the regulators are taking it easy on a lot of these lenders, and they want they're not going to cause the lenders as many problems if you're doing something that's 3 to 6 months to get through this time period.
Yeah, very good. That's great advice. Michael, we don't have a lot of time left. How can they reach out to you? I mean, how do they get a hold of you, kind of follow you? Are you active on social media? You have a website that maybe they can go to?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Eddie. If they want to reach out, my contact information is really available. My company is BullRealty. Our website's bullrealty.com. If they're agents and they're looking to build their commercial real estate skills, you can reach me through my commercial agent trainings company, which is commercialagentsuccess.com. And then, I'm pretty active on Twitter and LinkedIn. I guess are my favorite social medias, and you can probably just search for Michael Bull or Bull Realty or the Commercial Real Estate Show or Commercial Agent Success Strategies.
Very good. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for being a guest today on the podcast. It's always good we get a lot of single family real estate investors on the show. It's always good to have a fellow commercial real estate investor on the show. And thank you so much for your thoughts and your insights today.
Thanks for having me. I love what you guys do.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Think Realty, for watching today, the Think Realty video podcast. We appreciate Michael and his insights into the commercial market. Obviously, the marketplace is changing. We are seeing lots of diversification and things changing all around us. And I hope that you as an investor are keeping your eyes open, looking for the next opportunity. Anytime that there is a downturn, if you have capital, you've got some powder dry, or you've got access to financing, it's a great time to look at diversifying, looking at new opportunities. I would reach out to Michael, and one thing that maybe you could do is just reach out to him or his website and say, hey, any decent opportunities you have, we'd love to look at them. And I'm sure that he has agents that maybe have deals, like he said on the show. He has someone that's willing to get rid of 2 hotel properties, 2 hospitality properties. And I think that hospitality, even though it's going through a huge hit right now, may be a great opportunity in the near future as a lot of these properties, these distressed properties, come on board. Thank you so much for watching. I want to say one more quick thank you to another segment sponsor, and that's Clint Coons of Anderson Business Advisors. They're a nationally recognized group for providing bulletproof asset protection, tax, and business strategy advice to real estate investors. Go to getbulletprooftoday.com. That's getbulletprooftoday.com, and receive Clint's books or his latest book called Asset Protection for Real Estate Investors, and he'll provide those for free while supplies last. Go to getbulletprooftoday.com and request your free book. Clint is a great friend, and also is a constant provider of content on the Think Realty platform. Make sure you go and support him. And again, thank you so much to Narada Real Estate Investments, your turnkey real estate provider. You can visit them at turnkeyrealestateinvestments.com. Thank you so much for watching today. Make sure you join us on social media if you're not already connected. On anywhere that you are, we are LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, all the other above, Twitter, and we can make sure to connect with you there and provide you great content. And if you haven't read our latest version of the digital magazine, go to thinkrealty.com and download the latest digital magazine, or go and pick it up at your local Barnes & Noble. You can get that physical copy, or you can subscribe and have the copy delivered to your house. Thank you so much for watching today. Happy investing. Have a great day.